The World of Winnie the Pooh. Eeyore has a birthday. Eeyore, the old grey donkey, stood by the side of the stream and looked at himself in the water. "Pathetic," he said. "That's what it is, pathetic." He turned and walked slowly down the stream for 20 yards, splashed across it and walked slowly back up the other side. Then he looked at himself in the water again. "As I thought," he said, "no better from this side. Nobody cares." There was a crackling noise in the bracken behind him, and out came Winnie the Pooh. "Good morning, Eeyore," he said. "Good morning, Pooh Bear," said Eeyore, "if it is a good morning, which I doubt." "Why, what's the matter?" said Pooh. "You seem so sad." "Sad? Why should I be sad? It's my birthday, the happiest day of the year." "Your birthday?" said Pooh in great surprise. "Of course it is. Can't you see? Look at all the presents I've had." He waved his foot from side to side. "Look at the birthday cake, candles and pink icing." Pooh looked, first to the right and then to the left. "Presents?" said Pooh. "Birthday cake? Where?" "Can't you see them?" "No," said Pooh. "Neither can I," said Eeyore. "But is it really your birthday?" "It is." "Oh, well, many happy returns of the day, Eeyore." "It's bad enough," said Eeyore, almost breaking down, "being miserable myself, what with no presents, and no cake, and no candles, and no proper notice taken of me at all." This was too much for Pooh. "Stay there," he called to Eeyore, as he turned and hurried back home as quickly as he could, for he felt that he must get poor Eeyore a present of some sort at once, and he could always think of a proper present later. Outside his house he found Piglet jumping up and down, trying to reach the knocker. "Hello, Piglet," said Pooh. "Hello, Pooh," said Piglet. "I've just seen Eeyore," Pooh began, "and he's in a very sad condition because it's his birthday and nobody has taken any notice of it, and he's very gloomy. So the first thing I'm going to do is see if I can find a jar of honey." So Pooh went into the cupboard to see if he had a jar of honey, and he had, so he took it down. "I'm giving this to Eeyore as a present," he said. "What are you going to give?" "Couldn't I give it too?" said Piglet, "from both of us?" "No, I don't think that would be a good plan." All right then, I'll give him a balloon. I've got one left from my party. I'll go and get it now, shall I?" "That, Piglet," said Pooh, "is a very good idea. It's just what Eeyore wants to cheer him up. Nobody can be uncheered by a balloon." So off Piglet trotted, and in the other direction went Pooh with his jar of honey. It was a warm day and he had some way to go. He hadn't gone more than halfway when a sort of funny feeling began to creep all over him. It began at the tip of his nose and trickled all through him and out at the soles of his feet. It was just as if somebody inside him was saying, "Now then, Pooh, time for a little something." "Dear, dear," said Pooh, "I didn't know it was as late as that." So he sat down and took the top off the jar of honey. "Lucky I brought this with me," he thought. "Many a bear going out on a warm day like this would never have thought of bringing a little something with him." And he began to eat. "Now let me see," he thought, as he took a last lick at the inside of the jar. "Where was I going? Oh, yes, Eeyore." He got up slowly, and then suddenly he remembered he had eaten Eeyore's birthday present. "Bother," said Pooh. "What shall I do? I must give him something." For a little while he couldn't think of anything. Then he thought, Well, it is a nice pot, even if there is no honey in it. And if I washed it clean and got somebody to write a happy birthday on it, Eeyore could keep things in it which might be useful. So, as he was just passing the 100-acre wood, he went inside to call on Owl, who lived there. "Good morning, Owl," he said. "Good morning, Pooh," said Owl. "And many happy returns on Eeyore's birthday." "Oh, is that what it is? What are you giving him, Owl?" "What are you giving him, Pooh?" "I'm giving him a useful pot for keeping things in, and I wanted to ask you—" "Is this it?" said Owl, taking the jar out of Pooh's paw. "Yes, and I wanted to ask you—" "Somebody has been keeping honey in it," said Owl. "You can keep anything in it," said Pooh. "It's very useful like that, and I wanted to ask you—" "You ought to write happy birthday on it." "That was what I was going to ask you," said Pooh. "Would you write happy birthday on it for me?" "Of course," said Owl, and he took a pencil and wrote a very happy birthday with love from Pooh. While all that was happening, Piglet had gone back to his own house to get Eeyore's balloon. He held it very tightly against himself so that it shouldn't blow away, and he ran as fast as he could go to get to Eeyore before Pooh did, for he thought that he would like to be the first one to give a present, just as if he'd thought of it without being told by anybody else. And running along and thinking how pleased Eeyore would be, he didn't look where he was going, and he suddenly put his foot in a rabbit hole and fell down flat on his face. Bang! Piglet lay there wondering what had happened. At first he thought the whole world had blown up, and then he thought that perhaps only the forest part of it had, and then he thought that perhaps only he had, and he was now alone in the moon or somewhere, and would never see Christopher Robin or Pooh or Eeyore again. And then he thought, well, even if I'm in the moon, I needn't be face downwards all the time. So he got cautiously up and looked about him. He was still in the forest. Well, that's funny, he thought. I wonder what that bang was. I couldn't have made such a noise just falling down. And where's my balloon? And what's that small piece of damp rag doing? It was the balloon. Oh dear, said Piglet. Oh dear, oh dearie, dearie, dear. Well, it's too late now. I can't go back, and I haven't another balloon, and perhaps Eeyore doesn't like balloons so very much. So he trotted on, rather sadly now, and down he came to the side of the stream where Eeyore was and called out to him. Good morning, Eeyore, shouted Piglet. Good morning, little Piglet, said Eeyore. If it is a good morning, which I doubt, not that it matters. Many happy returns of the day, said Piglet, having now got closer. Eeyore stopped looking at himself in the stream and turned to stare at Piglet. Just say that again, he said. Many happy... Wait a moment. Balancing on 3 legs, he began to bring his 4th leg very cautiously up to his ear. I did this yesterday, he explained, as he fell down for the 3rd time. It's quite easy. It's so I can hear better. There, that's done it. Now, what were you saying? He pushed his ear forward with his hoof. Many happy returns of the day, said Piglet. Meaning me? Of course, Eeyore. My birthday? Yes. Me? Having a real birthday? Yes, Eeyore, and I've bought you a present. A present, said Piglet very loudly. Meaning me again? Yes. My birthday? Of course, Eeyore. Me going to have a real birthday? Yes, Eeyore, and I brought you a balloon. Balloon, said Eeyore. Did you say balloon? One of those big coloured things you blow up? Gaiety and song and dance, and here we are? Yes, but I'm very sorry, Eeyore, but when I was running along to bring it to you, I fell down. Dear, dear, how unlucky. You ran too fast, I expect. You didn't hurt yourself, little piglet. No, but oh, Eeyore, I burst the balloon. There was a very long silence. My balloon, said Eeyore at last. Piglet nodded. My birthday balloon. Yes, Eeyore, said Piglet, sniffing a little. Here it is, with many happy returns of the day. And he gave Eeyore the small piece of damp rag. Is this it? Said Eeyore, a little surprised. Piglet nodded. My present? Piglet nodded again. The balloon? Yes. Thank you, Piglet, said Eeyore. If you don't mind my asking, what colour was the balloon when it was a balloon? Red. I just wondered. Red, he murmured to himself. My favourite colour. How big was it? About as big as me. I just wondered. About as big as Piglet, he said to himself sadly. My favourite size. Well, well. Piglet felt very miserable and didn't know what to say. He was still opening his mouth to begin something and then deciding it wasn't any good saying that when he heard a shout from the other side of the river. And there was Winnie the Pooh. Many happy returns of the day, called out Pooh, forgetting that he'd said that already. Thank you, Pooh. I'm having them, said Eeyore gloomily. I've brought you a little present, said Pooh excitedly. I've had one, said Eeyore. Pooh had now splashed across the stream to Eeyore, and Piglet was sitting a little way off, his head in his paws, snuffling to himself. It's a useful pot, said Pooh. Here it is, and it's got a very happy birthday with love from Pooh written on it. That's what all that writing is, and it's for putting things in. There. When Eeyore saw the pot, he became quite excited. Why, he said, I believe my balloon will just go into that pot. Oh no, Eeyore, said Pooh. Balloons are much too big to go into pots. What you do with a balloon is, you hold the balloon. Not mine, said Eeyore proudly. Look, Piglet. And as Piglet looked sorrowfully around, Eeyore picked the balloon up with his teeth and placed it carefully in the pot, picked it out and put it on the ground, and then picked it up again and put it carefully back. So it does, said Winnie the Pooh. It goes in. So it does, said Piglet, and it comes out. Doesn't it, said Eeyore. It goes in and out like anything. I'm very glad, said Pooh happily, that I thought of giving you a useful pot to put things in. I'm very glad, said Piglet happily, that I thought of giving you something to put in a useful pot. But Eeyore wasn't listening. He was taking the balloon out and putting it back again, and was as happy as could be.